you guys can hear me. It's been a while since I done a live stream. I was sick. I think like a week ago. I was recovering. Um, but yeah, I hope you guys are having a great holiday. Um, Summer's basically over now. I know most of you are either preparing to go back to school, or maybe your kids are getting ready to go back to school, or getting ready to start a new job. Hope it goes well for you guys. I have a lot of things to talk about. There's a couple things I want to talk about today. Um, First thing I do want to talk about, well, the main thing I want to talk about is the ban, the quote unquote ban of otaku culture in Texas, in here in Texas. Even though it's still kind of vague of what it means, but I do want to talk about that. The first thing I do want to go through today is that before we dive into some bad news, there is some good news regarding Bleach. Um, Apparently, we might be getting a new movie for Bleach because just updated the IP for Bleach, and it looks like we're going to be getting a new project from Bleach after Core 4. It was also announced that Bleach is going to get the red stage at Jump Festa. If you don't know, usually they give the red stage at Jump Festa. Well, before I even explain that, Jump Festa is basically like Jump Festa is where they announce every major, like most major projects when it comes to like anime, manga, or video games. When it comes to things that are in shown in Jump magazine. So, and they usually give the red stages to whenever something is going to get like a huge announcement or like multiple announcements. And Bleach is finally getting the red stage. Before it always got like the blue stage, even during the Thousand Year Blood War arc. So the fact that it's getting the red stage this year is really big news. Means that we're getting a huge project, especially with the update of this of the movie IP website. So let's take a look at this video really quick.
Now, I'm not going to say that I'm correct. I take a little bit of a break from YouTube. I come back with a Jump Festa video, and, one of my predictions may just be coming into fruition. So, if you want to hear more, hit that like, subscribe. Let's get onto the video, and let's just talk about something that is...
This is James Henson. He moved from the UK to Japan. He knows a lot in terms of what's happening behind the scenes with Bleach. I believe he is a part of Club Outside, Tacticubo's club, regarding Bleach. He has a lot of information. Most of the information regarding Bleach is usually correct. I believe most of the YouTubers that do Bleach content follow his content, and they usually get the information from him. So, really reliable source when it comes to Bleach news. He was the one who broke it out that Bleach was going to get a red stage at Jump Festa.
Pretty interesting, to say the least. Let's get into it, shall we? Alright, so if you didn't watch the Jump Festa video that I did yesterday, please go and check it out. I give a very objective or very constructive theory about what I think is going to be happening at Jump Festa, and I give my whys on why I think these things are going to happen. So, anyway, today I was kind of brought to the attention of a certain domain that had updated. Now, I always like to say when it comes to domains, that not all the time, most of the time, but not all the time, taken with a pinch of salt, right? And I'll kind of discuss about that, but I'm going to give the copium first, because we all love a bit of copium, right? We all love to see the story of this. But in my Jump Festa video, I made the kind of announcements, or the kind of the speculative announcements for Bleach. And one of them, of course, we know for 100% that there's going to be a Core 4 trailer. But I also said that usually with a red stage, there's usually, for the majority of the part in history, of there being more announcements or something on a bigger scale. Or usually, I also posed the question of what do we have after Core 4, and why I thought the red stage was a little bit of a on the nose that something may be happening more, and I kind of gave my reasoning to that, so please go and watch that video. So with that being said, we have a new domain which I will show now, going towards the Bleach movie website being updated from 2025 to 2026. Now, the
Yeah, so this is it right here. So they updated it. Before this was like I believe the last Bleach movie that they made. I think it was like back in 2011. So it says 2026 now. So meaning that there is another project coming out, and it makes sense too because the Thousand Year Blood Work has been very very good for TV Tokyo. TV Tokyo is where they show series like Bleach, Naruto, Boruto, Black Clover. Um, so it makes perfect sense for them to do a movie. Now I'm gonna let it finish, and then I'll talk about in terms of what this movie could be.
last time this website was in use, and I say that very vaguely, was this website here. And this is, I just want to do a quick little refresh on this, but this was obviously the last Bleach movie, which is the Bleach Hell arc. As you can see, I'm using Wayback Time Machine. And yeah, this is Bleach Hellverse movie. This was in, or released in 2011, and the domain has existed on this page specifically since 2023. Now this is obviously when like the whole Flash part of it was working, blah blah blah. Obviously, like, it actually stopped working in 2024, but this is where Wayback Time Machine kind of, no, oh no, okay, yeah, 2024 August, right? And then it starts getting taken down or updated per se in 2025 of January. This is where TV Tokyo's kind of logo comes up. Now you might say, oh well, this is when TV Tokyo used to host the site. Well, actually, for someone that was there back in the day, the bleach-movie.com actually did work, and I'm not really sure how websites work for the majority of the part, but usually TV Tokyo would be a redirectory, or the name would change sometimes, but for the most part, the domain worked and it was the same, and it would redirect to a TV Tokyo-esque kind of directory, I think. And we can prove this by saying, like, this is the same. This is tvtokyo.co.jp/anime/bleach, and as you can see, it's exactly the same as the current website. So it's just kind of like maybe a backdoor kind of domain, or the main domain, or the secondary domain. It doesn't really matter in the big scheme of things, right? But it's just an example to show you that it doesn't really matter.
But yeah, I basically want to play this video to show you guys that we are getting, possibly getting a Bleach movie after Core 4. Which is really good news. I predicted this for a while now. I said that after Core 4, they're probably gonna like do a movie. Um, Now, obviously, a lot of people are excited about this, but the big question now is, what is this movie going to be about? Now, there's been numerous predictions about this. Obviously, we're going to have to see how Core 4 ends because Core 4 is going to have a lot of new content. So we just don't know how it's going to end. We don't know if it's going to follow the same ending as the manga or if things are going to change. Another thing we got to keep in mind too is that a lot of people have been saying that this might be a movie for the Hell arc. I'm going to say this right now. I am just like he says it too. I don't think this is going to be a movie that's about the Hell arc. That's just my personal opinion. Because one, we only have one chapter of the Hell arc, and I just don't see this being that case. And plus, there has to be, and plus, depending on how Core 4 ends, there's still a lot of setup to get to that part of that one shot that he of Kubo did. So my prediction for this movie is, well, some people said that this might be an adaptation of one of the light novels they created for Bleach. I've seen a lot of people say I think it was the one with Rukia. I believe it was the one with Rukia getting married. I believe. My prediction for the movie, if it's a movie, is something similar to like Naruto the Last, where there's like maybe like a plot going on, but at the same time it focuses on like like Orihime and Ichigo, um, finally revealing their love for each other, mainly Orihime and Ichigo, finding in his heart to have love for someone else. So That's my prediction for the movie. Obviously, people say it'll be too similar to Naruto the Last, but they have to set up because in the Hell arc, it's spoilers. Ichigo's son is one of the major components of that arc, so they have to set up his son. So that's why I said that this movie has to I don't want it to be like a fast forward of like him being married and already or he I want it to be something that they find love and then they eventually get married. So that is my prediction for the movie. Um, I know I'm not the only one that has that same opinion, but either way, this is really exciting news. Um, Obviously, in Jump Fest, they're going to show the trailer for Core 4, the final Core, and possibly a release date. I think they are going to give us a release date. If not a release date, probably like a release window. I always said that this is most likely going to come out next fall. I, in my personal opinion, I would rather come out next fall. Um, if not next fall, it'll possibly be next summer. But we'll have to wait and see. But overall, I'm really excited for this news. Tell me what you guys think in the conversation below. But, anyways, let's jump into the main topic today. So, I'm going to play the video from Hypnotic. So, apparently, it was passed back in June that Texas passed a bill that apparently basically, I wouldn't say put a ban on anime, but it has, for what I understand, it has something to do with an AI aspect of it. But let's take a look at this video.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so in today's video, we are going to be talking about a breaking news story about the Albanese government that has apparently completed its $6.5 million age assurance trial for the upcoming under 16 social media ban that is happening and releasing a 10-part, 1,100-page report on.
I don't think this is it. Where is it? Hold on. I need to get to that part where they talk about it. So this is more about the showing your ID when it comes to the whole ID verification thing for the internet. I want to jump to what's happening in Texas right now. All right, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Let me go back a little
Bit more because Chippy Reviews has been talking about this for a little bit now, and he says breaking censorship news. SB 20 in Texas goes into effect tomorrow. This is the bill that could potentially ban most anime, manga, games thanks to the vagueness of its law. The reason why I'm bringing up SB 20 in this video is because groups like Collective Shout and groups like this person, they absolutely advocate for this stuff. They are trying to enact laws all across the globe that are extremely vague in nature, that allows the politicians to say what you would consider to be obscene or not. They can say what you can and cannot view, what you can and cannot buy. They're literally making these laws to be so vague that they can just make up whatever shit they want. If they deem something to be problematic enough, you'll never be able to view it. You'll never be able to.
So, and that's the issue with laws like this. Like, the vagueness of it means that one thing, one thing could be banned, but then, you know, they can decide, so, hey, that doesn't follow the guidelines either, so we'll ban that. So it's not just on anime and manga. It also involves like gaming and a lot of things, even things created by artists. And from what I understand, I thought this was something that had to do with like people using AI to create artwork. That they don't want it to create images that depict children doing unquestionable things. But apparently, like I said, like the vagueness in the law is that's what has a lot of people worried. And again, like it's very strange that this was approved in a state like Texas too, because I'm not originally from Texas. Like I moved here 2 years ago, but Texas like has a really huge otaku culture. Like a lot of people here love anime in Texas, and I am just surprised that this like went through. Like even some of the dubbing studios, they're I believe some of them are here in Texas. So I am just surprised that this was like approved. But like I said, it all depends on the backlash and how much people are going to fight this. Because again, things like this takes away from creative freedom. And me, as someone who likes to create, I will not get in the way of people's creative freedom. As long as it's something legal, which anime, you know, if it most all the anime that has been showcased is pretty legal. We're not talking about hentai. We're talking about like regular anime depicted from manga. So again, it's coming from people who really don't understand the medium, who don't really ingest it, and they're just putting out these policies and laws, and they want to use the kids as a mask to say that, oh, we're doing this to protect children.
To buy it, and if you do buy it, well, that's a criminal offense and they could come after you for it. This is what they're trying to do, and SB 20 is no different. SB 20 is a law that has such unbelievable vague language that when it comes to digital cartoons, if something is deemed to be childlike, which keep in mind they say all anime is childlike, I'm talking about the anime that you normies love, right? The anime out there, Jujutsu Kaisen lovers, One Piece lovers, right? All this stuff, they're going to consider it to be childlike. And then before you know it, well, it's gone. And then what? Everybody's going to be like, why are you banning my anime? It's because nobody did anything. It's because nobody said anything aside from a couple of people talking about it, right? This is why we need to make sure people realize that if you think this is going to stop at supposed Gooner material, if you think this is going to stop at supposed problematic content, oh, it won't. All content will be problematic.
And this is what I don't understand. These people are trying so hard to censor anime. When, mind you, we live in a society where Hollywood makes series like freaking Big Mouth. Like, again, if you watch Big Mouth on Netflix, you all know what type of series that is. And I said this before, that series is way worse than any anime we've seen. That's just my personal opinion.
At a certain point in time to these people, you really think this woman that made this law or participated in the making of this law, you really think she has a fucking clue as to what anime is actually like? Do you think she understands anime culture? Do you think she understands gaming culture? You think she understands social media? No, she doesn't understand anything. All she understands is she has an agenda, she wants to see it through, and she's going to do everything she can to make sure that it happens, right? So if you look at this here, this post I found to be very interesting. Aussie fella says, question mark? Busted, e-safety Karen must resign. According to Sky's Due Australia, leaked emails reveal e-safety Commissioner Julie Inman Grant was leaked to a censorship plot to sideline President Donald Trump while working in the Albany's government. If you look at some of these emails here, it says from Julie Inman Grant to Rob Rakowitz, its subject matter Twitter. It says, hi Rob, I saw the Garm post on LinkedIn and was really pleased to see this proactive approach. I'll be very interested in seeing your 6 points. I believe Garm has significant collective power in helping to hold the platforms to account, and I appreciate your informing the importance of both brand and platform safety. There's even some more pictures here that we're going to zoom in to try to help, understand this a little bit. Look on the right. They must be soul destroying. Oh, that must be soul destroying, Rob. I worked in the 102nd Congress at the time when members worked across parties on issues of mutual concerns. America's not the country of promise I grew up in and left 22 years ago. It makes me sad to see the societal polarization and degeneration of so many fronts, and frankly, the violence that permeates discourse in the name of free speech.
I think, hold on, alright, so yeah, this is the video I actually want to click on. So, Chibi explains it a bit more in terms of what's going on.
How does it keep getting worse, man? It keeps getting worse. The Texas Senate Bill 20 has passed. This is the very bill I talked about earlier this year that you probably recall me talking about extensively, that anime, manga, games could theoretically get banned. For instance, if you watch something like Naruto or Dragon Ball, Bleach, or let's say you watch Family Guy or The Simpsons, you might get arrested. You could go to jail for owning or watching these said series because of this Texas Senate bill.
Now, like I said, This is, I feel like this is mainly to like target, things, people using like AI and stuff to create things, but like the things he says about Family Guy and The Simpsons, I feel like if this were to target series like that, I feel like then at that case, this bill would have to be like either revoked or it would have to be revised because one those are like those series are like American products, and two, both of those series generate like multi hundreds of millions of dollars a year. So in terms of this bill affecting that, it could, but at the same time, like to if it affects it to a, if it affects it to a degree, then these creators, are going to fight back. Like Fox, well, Disney owns Fox, Disney, and Seth MacFarlane. They're going to fight back against um, this bill because they have the resources to do that and the backing of their fan bases.
That would pass. But as you can see, it did pass. It passed on June 20th, 2025, and it is a moderate partisan bill, which means Republicans and Democrats both voted for it. But to go even further, it comes into effect tomorrow, September 1st,
Which is today.
2025. And we already see how it's affecting people. Don't believe me? Let me show you proof. So this is Just, a pretty big company that, houses a lot of, let's say, anime games, and houses a lot of adult anime games as well.
And things like this kind of gets me worried because I think this is a group that goes. This, from what I understand, this is there's a group that goes to conventions to sell merchandise and stuff, and the fact that they're banned from an upcoming convention in San Antonio just really gets me worried for things like this in terms of creative freedom. Because, like I said, I just don't understand what is wrong with these people who don't fully understand these niche communities in terms of like things they like, that are trying so hard just to limit or get rid of it altogether. And this is why I always said that anime and manga becoming mainstream was the biggest mistake to happen. Same thing with gaming, because it just brings in people who don't know anything about these communities, injecting their own political ideals and trying to quote unquote fix the toxicity, because it's like it's too toxic. It's it's not right for everyone. When they mean everyone, they mean like tourists, people who are just getting into it, and that's the problem in our society today when it comes to entertainment. Because they just at the end of the day, they just don't want people to be entertaining anymore. They just want people to like be preached to, be talked down to. That's literally what entertainment is now, and it's really sad.
And they went to an anime convention, you can see by their post, and you know what? Let's just read it. After a very successful Friday, we were banned from the San Japan Convention in San Antonio, Texas this weekend. Our content is too provocative for the powerful of the Lone Star State, ahead of the anti-anime bill SB20 going into effect on Monday. Tomorrow is Monday. So what does this mean in the grand scheme of things? Well, first off, we need to talk about Jasta's situation. So from my understanding, this company, this group that has a lot of adult games, has a lot of, icky adult games, has, adult content and stuff and anime content, they were banned from a convention. Which is very strange because from my understanding, Jasta's always went to a bunch of different conventions over the years. I'm assuming they've been to San Japan Convention in San Antonio quite a bit over the years. I don't know necessarily, do not quote me on that one, but I know for a fact they probably visit a lot of different conventions around the country. The thing is to randomly get banned from a convention, and then the bill that is potentially going to affect all anime and manga coming into effect this upcoming Monday, it feels perfectly timed. Now, this could be a coincidence, and what Jast is saying here could just be chalked up to a coincidence. Because they do outline and say that the anti-anime bill SB20 is going into effect Monday. So it seems to me like they're more or less trying to blame the bill, or they're saying that, this is happening right before the bill goes.
It could be a coincidence, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the bill going into effect. Um, I want to say it's the bill going into. Yeah, I kind of want to say it's the bill going into effect, or maybe it's someone on the board for that convention that just doesn't want them there because they quote unquote have these similar ideals to what they're trying to pass in the bill. So, like I said, like we've seen it happen time and time again. Um, like some of these people in conventions, they want certain people there, they don't want certain people there, based on like how they feel about them, based on it could be based on how they personally feel, or based on how the crowd and on the fan base feels about them. So, um, I'm not saying it could be the bill, but it could be a possibility.
Goes in effect. And regardless if it was the law or not that caused this, the point of the matter is maybe the people within the convention center, they didn't want Jas there because of the adult content and the complications it might cause thanks to the bill going into effect this upcoming Monday.
I think he dives into like what exactly the bill says because he talks about the vagueness.
Video and read yourself, it's extremely vague. Crunchyroll is headquartered in Texas as well. Crunchyroll is headquartered in Texas.
I didn't even know this. I thought Crunchyroll was headquartered, and from what I remember, I thought it was headquartered in California. I had no idea. They probably moved here recently. So this is actually pretty interesting. So I'm not saying Crunchyroll will go under. I feel like Crunchyroll is going to start censoring a lot of stuff on their platform. Do not be surprised if certain ecchi series from Crunchyroll start to disappear. Either they start to disappear, or you start watching it and literally majority scenes are just censored like hell. Do not be surprised when you start seeing that happen. I mean, I said this before, Crunchyroll is ass. Like, especially how Crunchyroll is right now. Crunchyroll is not the same Crunchyroll, man. Like, I rather watch anime on Netflix than on Crunchyroll. That's how bad it is. And High Dive is really underrated. I think a lot of people should start using High Dive more.
As well. So SB20 theoretically is going to hit Crunchyroll, and a bunch of their anime on their platform is probably going to get hit. Like, a bunch of their stuff might get censored or removed thanks to the bill coming into effect tomorrow within Texas. I believe there is a lawsuit as well that was in like court a long time ago that passed, where pretty much this entire bill, SB20, is kind of unconstitutional. And a lot of people believe that this bill...
It is unconstitutional because you gotta remember, most of this is not illegal stuff we're talking about. We're talking about otaku culture. We're talking about stuff in Japan. Majority of the stuff made in Japan is legal for broadcasting. If it wasn't legal for broadcasting, these streaming platforms wouldn't license them. It's that simple. That's what people fail to understand, and this is why I keep saying these people, especially people who work for the government, they just do not understand the people they serve. They really do not know anything. Like, they really don't.
Bill really wouldn't go anywhere. It'd be instantly challenged and thrown out because of just how it would probably break a lot of different laws. Now, in the writing of the bill, what it tries to do is more or less ban provocative or obviously things that might resemble a child within a series. The point of the matter is that the bill is so vague that it could affect stuff like Family Guy, Simpsons, Naruto, Dragon Ball, Bleach. You get the point. And the reason why I say it affects those series, let's think about what it's trying to do. Like these obscure or obscenity visual material. Stewie, within Family Guy, obviously would not fly thanks to this bill. That's in Texas. Simpsons has a lot of content similar. Dragon Ball has a lot of characters that are kids. Like, let's think about, go on, what he goes through. Or Videl, technically. Like, what Videl goes through. There's ways to view this that obviously would get series instantly banned, or you get instantly arrested for even possessing these series in your home, or even getting caught watching them, so to speak.
And someone has already been arrested, not in Texas, but I believe it was in Ireland. He was on his way, I think it was Ireland. He was on his way to New York Anime Expo, and they arrested him because he had anime content in his possession. So I wouldn't be surprised if they start doing it here. But like I said, with something like this, and especially with how massive anime is in Texas, this is going to be challenged. This is definitely going to be challenged. Um, I also feel like this is not going to remain for too. I feel like it's not going to remain for too long, but we'll have to wait and see. And plus, it's not nationwide. It's only in Texas so far, but it could spread to other states. It could, but like I said, we'll have to wait and see. But overall, my opinion about this is, if you're an independent creator, as long as you're creating something legal, I wouldn't be too worried about this. Especially if you're a creator who lives in Texas. Um, Keep creating whatever you're doing. Um, always stick to your ideals. This might be a challenge. This might be something that you might have to face down the crossroads, but face it head on. As long as you understand, especially you understand this law and you understand that you have creative freedom, I feel like you don't really have to worry too much about this. But like I said, the vagueness in this could change a lot of things. But I'm not too worried about the future, but I feel like it's something you should just keep on your radar. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this. It's really quote unquote big news here in the state. So, especially in a state with such a huge love for anime. So, we'll have to wait and see. The next thing I want to move to is something that's really funny. It has to do with some very, very weird game that quote unquote coming out. Let's take a look at this. Let me look this up.
We've seen a lot of games just crash and burn, a lot of woke garbage that's been pushed out, a lot of companies that are dedicated to doing that and pushing propaganda in games. It looks like we've got a new one on our radar.
So this game right here is called Take Us North. The main premise about this game is basically about illegal aliens trying to cross the border into America. It's I believe it's a simulator game. Yeah, that is literally the premise of this game. To illegally cross the border into America. And from what I understand, like the I think the developers talk about this, who are working on this game. This game is based off real world experiences. So that means they talk to real people who cross the border illegally to get into America. Mind you, Asmongold, I believe they released a video. They released the video talking about the game, presenting it on their YouTube video. Asmongold did a critique about it on his live stream. As soon as he did it, they took down their video, and I think they privatized it on their channel. The only way you can see the video is if you go on Asmongold's YouTube channel and see his reaction to this game. I said this all the time, and I'll say it again. These companies, who are they making these games for? Like, I need to understand who is taking out their wallet and purchasing games like this. This is what I'm talking about when I say modern entertainment is really in the gutter. Like, this makes no fucking sense. This makes no sense. The fact that this was even an idea of a game, the fact that people actually sat down and wanted to develop this game, they were enthusiastic to make a game like this. Like, it just shows that you have no creative backbone in your soul. This is the dumbest idea for a game I've ever seen.
And it is Take Us North. Take Us North, to put it frankly, is an illegal immigration simulator where you're attempting to illegally cross from Mexico into the United States over the border. You're trying to sneak past border agents and border patrols and ICE agents and stuff like that. And it's all from this frame of, you know, these migrants, they really have to go through a lot to get here, and they're really great people, and the people that lead them there, they're the real heroes. I don't think this game's going to focus too much on all the horrific, disgusting things that happen, all the human.
Exactly. Like they will not focus on that. Like all the human and child trafficking, people dying just to get across. They're not going to focus on that. They're gonna paint. They're gonna try to paint these migrants as heroes, as people. Like seriously. And then of course they're gonna. I think they play it in this, but the head developer of this game, literally the way she introduces herself is her pronouns. That alone should tell you everything about this game.
Human trafficking, the people that get killed and murdered and raped and enslaved and all of this shit.
Really?
But this is the next thing. And it really got so much attention because somebody alerted Asmongold. Asmongold reacted to this stream that they were doing, talking about it. And after that, they privated the video.
Yep. Yeah, they privated it. After Asmongold reacted to it, they privated it. This is what these people do. When that's another thing about modern entertainment now. They really cannot take criticism. They cannot take criticism from anyone. Just a hint of criticism, they'll either do shit like this, or they'll call you like, oh, you're a hissphobe, you're a racist. They'll call you all this stuff in the book. And then when people don't watch or buy your shit, they'll blame the fans. They'll blame you. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. This is what Hollywood does. This is exactly what they do.
Wow.
They didn't want anyone else to see. And God, look at this. Look at how dog shit this looks. My God. But their idea, what they like to do, Anime Interactive, the people that made this game, they want to change the world. They want to change the world because entertainment shapes culture and culture shapes societies. As developers, we have a responsibility to expand perspectives. And their team is over 60% BIPOC and 60% female non-binary. No wonder it looks like shit.
No, that's not how it works. Lucasfilm thought
They really want to change the world with this game. Mind you, this is literally what they're doing. They're basically trying. Like, again, I don't really like to go political on this channel, but for a game like this, they're literally basically saying, they're literally trying to stick it to ICE and Trump. That's literally what they're trying to do with a game like this. That's literally what they're trying to do. Because why else would you make a game like this? Why else would you make a game like this?
Thought the same as you do. Look at that company, and now they're trying to make a fun game of people crossing the border into America, so you can resonate with them, I guess, and make it seem like it's open the borders. That's what we're doing here, and they think that this game is going to shift the culture to more people to be like, yeah, we should just open the borders and let everybody run in. Like, I played this game, and now I feel them. I feel their pain. I understand what it's like. I know exactly how it is to cross the border because I played this game. Do you know that there's another game out there called Border Patrol Simulator where you could lock up everyone trying to cross the border? That you could...
No, that actually sounds more fun. That actually sounds more fun. I see more people playing that than this shit.
Snatch them out of their cars. I think you can illegally put substance in the car and arrest them. That game's been out for a little while, and the
I feel like that game's gonna see a surge because of the attention.
Those
It is.
graphics are horrible. People wanted me to play because they love when I play like these bus driving games or something. But this is unbelievable. But just look at every Hollywood production company that thought that they could change the culture and turn this place into more progressive, and everybody would be happy about it. And look how it ended up with all of them. Holy crap.
And look, I'm only going to show us like a little bit of this to get a taste of what this thing is all about. But There is no video of this existing anymore, other than, as far as I can tell, Asmongold's reaction to it.
Yeah, because they took it down. The only way you can watch it is if you watch Asmongold's reaction. And again, like I said, these people like this, they can't take criticism. They can't. Even if you're being genuinely nice about it, they won't take it because they always think they're correct, and you have to accept them or you're the problem.
Because after he reacted to it, they privated it a couple hours later. So the original video where you can watch this is gone. I haven't seen any re-uploads. I checked this morning, still didn't see. Maybe one will pop up at some point. But this is it. So if you want an idea for what this game is all about, here we go.
Great. So I got a little intro. Thank you. My name's Carla Reyes. My pronouns are she, her. And yeah, I run a little indie studio called Anime and Manga.
Yep. You heard it. Let's play that back. So let's play that back so you can hear her introduction again.
Thank you. My name's Carla Reyes. My pronouns are she, her. And yeah, I run a little indie studio called Anime and Manga.
I didn't know we were still doing that. I thought we got rid of that pronoun shit. I had no idea we were still doing this.
We're developing Take Us North, which is about migration across the U.S.-Mexico border, which is obviously a very relevant and heavy-hitting topic. But that's why we found it important to talk about now, and I'll share a little bit about our behind-the-scenes.
You heard what he said. You heard what Asmongold said. You heard what he said.
Across the U.S.-Mexico border. Which is obviously a very relevant and heavy-hitting topic. But that's why we found it important to talk about now, and I'll share a little bit about our behind-the-scenes in the development of this project.
So you start off by introducing herself and her pronouns, which I guess isn't a surprise. People who found out a little bit about Carla Reyes, advisor for Wings Fund Me. Now, this is a company that has connections with Sweet Baby Inc. This is somebody who's in the part of the World Economic Forum Global Shaper. This is somebody who used to work at Visa, who's appeared on panels with people from MasterCard in the midst of all of this censorship that's going on and the deplatforming by these credit card companies over certain games that they think are too misogynistic or whatever. All of these people are fucking connected. They are. But that's...
Hey, I can't believe that these people are still getting jobs. Like, are we not past that? Is it available now? When is it available to purchase? Do we know yet?
I'm not sure, actually. Yeah. Does it say here in their official teaser trailer 8 months ago? Let's see. This is, so they did a Kickstarter for it that raised like $50,000. But then Microsoft came in and they're helping them. Like, Microsoft is helping get this game made. So I
just peeped the Microsoft thing. I just peeped that. So, well, that should tell you where Microsoft's heading. The fact that they're helping them with this should tell you everything you need to know about how Microsoft is doing nowadays and where they're heading in the future.
Microsoft is helping get this game made. So I do not know when it's supposed to release or if it will release after this backlash.
Because it's very deeply rooted in research, given how sensitive and complex and nuanced the subject matter is.
So research, so yeah, they probably talked to people who actually crossed the border illegally.
We want to make sure that we are telling these stories.
Are they going to research the way that illegal migrants steal the identities of American citizens and then claim their benefits?
Exactly.
Legally? I wonder if they're going to talk about that.
Authentically, and that we are, reaching our goal in trying to shift hearts and minds around this. So before I begin, I'm actually curious.
Yeah, this isn't a game, it's propaganda. Of course. Obviously it is.
Yeah, it's 100% propaganda. This is not a game. And this is what I'm talking about with modern entertainment. They're not making entertainment anymore. They're just making propaganda. They're making content that they need to preach to you. They need to talk down to you, and you can't be entertained anymore. That's literally what it is now. Now it's entertainment, especially in the West. It's like what? 30% entertainment, 70% a teaching moment. That's literally what it is now. No more entertainment. There's really no more entertainment anymore. And I'm gonna play a video soon, in a bit, about what's happening with Hollywood now. But I feel like going to like the movies now is more of a chore, because let's be real, everyone. Movie tickets are not the same the way they used to be back in the 2010s. Things are a bit more expensive now. You really gotta like I feel like nowadays, like if a movie's coming out, people really gotta like sit down and just ask themselves, do I really want to go see this movie? Like they gotta really sit down, actually look at reviews, listen to word of mouth, see what's the deal with this movie. Like I had a friend from Boston. He made a TikTok video. He was talking about how he went to go see that Superman movie. He was extremely upset when he went to see that. And that's why I keep telling people now, like, before you go see a movie, be very sure if you want to go see it. Like me, last movie I went to see was Mission Impossible. And the reason why I had no problem going to see that is because I knew what the movie is what am I going to get? I'm going to get entertainment. I'm going to get action. I'm going to get Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise. It shows in how they market the movie. It shows in the press conferences they have. That's what I'm going to get. That's why I was excited to go see that movie. That I knew that I was going to be entertained. And that's another way too on how you can tell on how a movie is going to be, on how they marketed the movie. Like pay very close attention to marketing, guys, because marketing is literally the key on how these movies do. That's just my personal opinion. How they market it is really crucial to how this movie performs. That's why I love when they try to how Tom Cruise answered that question during the Mission Impossible interviews. Like when they asked him about what's happening right now with the Trump administration, he was like, stick to the topic, please. I really see like we need more people like that. Like these reporters always ask these questions just so they can like trap them into these discussions, and it's just like change the subject or just don't answer the question. Like we need more people like that.
To ask all of you, because I'm mindful there might not be many Americans in the room. Are there any Americans, by the way? No. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, so could I ask what are your perceptions around like the motivations behind migration across the U.S.-Mexico border? Like, what are you hearing in the headlines and the news? I'm just curious. You can shout things out, or go ahead. Trump out, yes. Okay. Anyone else?
Trump out! Yay! I knew that was coming.
That's not surprising.
TDS is one heck of a drug, man, that you would find this dragon to slay, that you would want to put a game together just to think that you could shift the culture war of people wanting to open the borders and let everybody fly in. Holy crap.
Yeah, and like the point of the game is you are leading a group of migrants. You are the one that's leading them on this mission. You have to keep them safe and combine your empathy and your duty and all of this stuff. It is all in a desperate effort. And their research, what they're talking about with that is illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Right? Illegal immigrants, the coyotes that do this shit. Like these people that are behind this shit. That's who they've helped. That's who's helped with this game. And they're very proud of it. And it's all to change and shape the way that people view migrants, illegal fucking immigrants. It's wild, dude.
It's just this was crowdfunded to get this going. This is where they want to spend their money on making.
It's crazy how this was crowdfunded too. Like it's insane that this was crowdfunded. Like the fact that people actually like poured money into this to see this project come to light is insane to me. It is insane that people actually want to see this. I mean, it wasn't like a super big crowdfunding. I think it was like, how much did they say? It was like $50K. Just not too big, but still, the fact that people poured $50K for a project this terrible is mind-boggling to me.
Making a video game to help illegal people come into this country, so we could have sympathy for them. That is really something, man. I
It's
feel like this
inspired
is like
by real world
2020.
stories. Real world stories of hopes and dreams. This game captures lived experiences of migrants across Latin America and beyond. Like,
It's pretty crazy because you got a game that's saying hopes and dreams to get to America, then you have white women in America wanting to set the flag on fire because they hate it here so much. So
well,
pick your poison, right?
like, let's just be real. The amount of people that get killed and raped, held by
horrible.
ransom by the cartel, like sold into a sex trade. All of
Children.
these things are happening by these very same people that they're attempting to humanize and turn into heroes.
Yeah.
And this is not about escaping this or escaping that. These people are fucking coming here to get more money because you get paid more here. That's why these fucking people are coming here. Let's stop trying to make excuses for every like onesie twosie thing. That's why they're doing it. That's why they're doing it.
And that's literally, yeah, and again, I just don't understand why they're making a game like this. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna play this game and be entertained. Like, if that's the case, you should have just made like a documentary about this instead of making this into a game. Like, again, I'm really confused who is going to buy this game. But, anyways, let's move on to the next video because I really want to look at this video. It has to do with the state of Hollywood right now. Let's take a look at this.
What have we been hearing, Jay, for the past couple years as Hollywood has continued to kind of flounder and not be able to find its feet at the box office, trying to recover?
Geeks and gamers, they're really like in the know of what's happening with modern entertainment. I'll give them a follow if you guys are interested, and also the people that you see featured in here.
To pre-pandemic levels, and then you had the strikes that delayed a bunch of movies. Survive till 25. That's what it was all about for theaters, for studios. Just survive until 2025, and the box office will have a huge rebound because a lot of the movies that were supposed to come out in 2024 got pushed to 2025 because of actor strikes and writer strikes and all that other shit that was going on. But holy shit, we got a lineup for you. We've got Snow White. We've got a Captain America movie. We've got 3 total Marvel movies coming out. Superman is coming out that summer. Another Jurassic World movie. Survive till 2025. It's going to be amazing. And even just a few months ago, they were looking at the summer box office and they were like, wow, which breakout could fuel this $4 billion season? And everyone was saying this summer's going to hit over $4 billion. The theaters are going to be back, baby. Hollywood's going to be back, baby. Turns out it's not exactly the case. Summer box office clobbered by kryptonite. Domestic revenue barely matches last year.
I think the only thing that made close to $1 billion. How much did Mission Impossible make? I don't know how much this movie made. Hold on. Let's see how much Mission Impossible made. Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. I want to see how much money this movie made. Box office. So, I don't think... This movie probably didn't make that much money. So it looks like the movie made about 600 mil. How much did it cost to make? So it looks like it made about 600 mil. I need to know how much did it cost to make. How much was the budget for this movie? So let's look at the budget. 400, yeah, I don't think this movie made its money back. Yeah, because I believe 400 mil, this movie would have to make back at least 800 mil. Yeah, this movie didn't make its money back. I mean, it was a decent watch. I would prefer, because I think this one and the other movie didn't make its money back. Damn. But I think I heard Jurassic World, this movie made close to $1 billion. This made like 900 something. Even though I heard people say it wasn't that good.
Turns out it's not exactly the case. Summer box office clobbered by Kryptonite. Domestic revenue barely matches last year.
Barely.
The May to Labor Day season initially soared, but global grosses took a nosedive as foreign movie ticket sales plunged further, and a glut of male skewing tentpoles battled for scraps in the U.S. And yes, male skewing tentpoles, the men didn't show up. It's all their fault. Men didn't show up to the box office. Okay?
Golly, man. I didn't know it was that bad.
Look, because last year, the excuse was, well, look, a lot of the movies that are originally planned to come out in 2024, they got delayed till 2025. But 2025, it's a packed slate. Like, we're going to see $4 billion domestic summer. We're going to see these massive returns. Everything's going to be back to normal. Not quite. And really when you look at the year, with a few notable exceptions, now you had Lilo and Stitch barely cross $1 billion. Minecraft was like 950 or something like there. So those were solid returns, obviously. But only a few things have kind of outperformed expectations. I would say Sinners is one of those from earlier in the year. F1 is certainly one of those in this summer that have outperformed what people expected. But you look at the rest of the year for the big releases, virtually everything else underperformed. Whether that's Mission Impossible, whether that's Snow White, whether that's all the Marvel movies, even whether that's Superman. Just a few months ago, people were thinking, could all three of these movies hit $1 billion in July? Fucking Fantastic Four, Superman, and Jurassic World Rebirth. And obviously didn't come close, Jurassic World Rebirth being the closest. But Superman, Fantastic Four, not even sniffing, not even idea of the numbers that so many people had projected heading into this summer. And as you noted, maybe one of the biggest kind of indictments here on how people are feeling about some of the movies that came out this summer is this Labor Day weekend. And the fact that Jaws, a 50-year-old movie that has had multiple re-releases, comes out for its 50th anniversary and damn near takes first place in the box office.
That's crazy. This movie came out over 50 years. Like, this movie is like twice my age older than me. A little bit more than that. That's crazy.
Crazy, dude.
Beating two new releases, right? Caught Stealing in the Roses. I mean, that's an indictment on how people feel right now about a lot of the shit that's out at theaters.
Makes you wonder if it's just going to be a re-release theater that time, you know? It's just, let's just re-release all the classics and why not? The movie's already been made. There's no budget needed. Just re-release stuff. I mean, I'm telling you, man, episode 3 would have done, it probably would have bumped it over $1 billion if they had kept it in the theater another weekend. Jaws is going to be in till this weekend, September 4th. It'll probably have a big tumble, but who knows if there's nothing else to really go see. And then they're hyping up Back to the Future. So maybe it's time to just bring back like some of our old classics and just re-release them. Because obviously people don't care.
We've certainly seen like an increase in that type of thing over the past couple of years, right?
Yeah.
However, look, $8.1 million, that's really solid, right? Just to randomly put out your re-release 50-year-old movie. That cannot sustain theaters.
That is correct.
You know? Like, that's cool and that's impressive. It's money that it's just more on top of whatever.
I was saying, like, we see a lot more. Like, they re-release a lot more at a time instead of just like a few a year to give some kind of bump. I don't know. Like, the fact that Jaws is that's just, it's wild to see that Jaws, even in less theaters, I'm guessing, than Caught Stealing. The Rose was in less theaters, but for it to do so well, yeah, 50-year-old film. I think Back to the Future will probably do a lot of numbers too.
I think it'll probably flirt with that, 8 million.
To 10.
But that just goes to show you that these new movies coming out nowadays are just really bad. Like, Jaws is a 50-year-old movie, and it's doing better than these new releases in terms of their weekend release. Like, this is crazy. Like, we're talking about a movie that's 50 years old. But, my God. Like I said before, something has to change. Things have to change. Especially if they want the audience to return. Because I don't think the audience has returned to Hollywood. And they always use the excuse of COVID and things being delayed. You can't. At some point you gotta stop using that excuse. The issue is that you are detached from the fans now. You are making content that the fans just don't want. You had the fans. You were making content for them, but somewhere down the line, you felt like your ego has become too inflated, and you think, oh, because because you have this name, you have this big reputation, you can do whatever you want now, and it doesn't matter what it is. The fans are always going to come. Like, the fans are going to come because, one, you treat them with respect, and two, you make sure they get their money's worth. Perfect example of this is the MCU. Ever since 2019, ever since we got into the 2020s, majority 80% of these MCU projects have been total failures. The only decent projects from the MCU ever since the 2020s were Spider-Man: No Way Home, Guardians 3, and Deadpool and Wolverine. Everything else has been a failure. Fantastic Four was a decent movie according to word of mouth, but it didn't make its money back. So again, you're making movies mainly with characters and aspects that nobody freaking wants, but you're pushing it out there because you're trying to aim at a very small and niche audience that doesn't even go out and watch these things or puts down money for these properties. Like, again, you're detached from your fans. You're saying F you to the fans that made you what you are, and you're going after an audience that does not exist. And now, because of how much of a pit you guys digged in terms of your failures, you want your fans to come back, but they're not coming back. They moved on. Like, they'll come back here and there for, like I said, Spider-Man: No Way Home, Deadpool, Wolverine. Fans came back for that because of the nostalgia. Spider-Man: No Way Home, they brought back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Mans and the old villains. Deadpool, Wolverine, they brought back Blade and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. They only came back for that because of nostalgia. But everything else moving forward, they're not here to watch what you want, what you're making. Because what you're making something that they don't want. I said this from the beginning. At the end of Endgame, that's when Disney had the rights to Fox that they had. So they had all the Marvel characters back. They had every single Marvel character. Your first move was to start on the X-Men and Fantastic Four. That was your first. That literally should have been the first move. And what gets you upset too is that Kevin Feige was still there. Like, that's literally should have been the first thing you should have done. Like, all right, we got Fox. Now we're gonna focus on X-Men. We're gonna bring the X-Men into the MCU. You can make so many stories, so many movies with the X-Men. Obviously, you have your main team, the X-Men, and then you can do another Wolverine trilogy. You can do movies with other X-Men characters. That's like 10 to 15 movies right there. And not to mention the Fantastic Four, which is something. I mean, yes, Disney eventually did do the Fantastic Four, but they did it so late. You should have done the Fantastic Four as soon as Endgame ended. They should have done X-Men, Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider, who else they should have done? It's on top of my head. Obviously, yeah, keep Spider-Man around. Moon Knight was a smart decision, but like, again, Like, yeah, because Moon Knight could have introduced the Midnight Suns. They could have brought in, yeah. And they had Blade. They're gonna do Blade, but we all know how that turned out. So yeah, like, I just don't understand what happened. I mean, I know what happened, but I'm just confused on why they let this happen. And this is what I'm talking about. You're hiring people who are literally not fans of these properties. They're literally just coming in just to inject their own personal ideals into these properties without even respecting the source material. We've seen it time and time again with these movies and with gaming. Like, look what happened with the Dragon Age Veilguard. Like, this person was going through a transition while they were working on this game, and they injected their ideals into the game. And mind you, Dragon Age is a staple in the gaming community. Like, I believe the last game was a Game of the Year game. And this game destroyed BioWare. And BioWare was already in the shitter because of Anthem. So, again, like I said this time and time again, these people, you're not getting your fans back because you have shitted on the fans over and over again. That it's to a point now where the fans are just not going to tune in. Like, you'll get some fans, but you're not going to get all of them. Especially the diehards. You're not going to get them back. They are gone. They have moved on. But yeah, it's really sad to see like where we are now. I said this before, I'm really happy in the era I grew up in terms of entertainment. The last best era of entertainment, in my opinion, was the 2010s. 2010s was really the time in terms of entertainment. I really hate where we are now. But I think I'm going to end the stream there. I do have a bunch of other stuff I do want to talk about. I'm probably going to show this stuff on a later stream, probably Wednesday. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to follow me on social media. All links will be in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one. This is the Wave Blur, and I'm signing out.